The Producer Spotlight with Mr. Instro.
You can be a beat maker and not be a music producer. But when you're a music producer, you don't have to be a beat maker.
Only on the element.
Only on the element. So on Wednesdays, right here on the element, I sang and I sang and I sang and I sang. Why? Because really and truly I can, and also because I'm always super excited when Mr. Instro is around. It's time for us to get into the producer's spotlight. We do this every Wednesday from 6:30 until 7:30. We spotlight an incredible producer and see what we can learn from that producer, from the work that they do, from the business moves that they make, from the books that they write, and all this other incredible stuff. So that's how the producer spotlight works. It's Mr. Instro's baby. He's the professor. I am the student, and we
You gotta stop saying that.
Yo, can I just do my intro?
Sorry.
You see?
Continue.
That's what a lecturer does. You're talking in the back with your friend Kiki. Hey! Yeah, so I can see why I can't call him a professor when he does things like that. But Ash. All right, so Mr. Instro is here.
Without a doubt.
Showena.
Hey. What's up?
How you doing, Mr. Instro?
I can't complain. I'm good.
So wait, why don't you want me to call you the professor?
Because I think that's a very big title. And I think you're not the student. In fact, that's what I have a problem with. The fact that you're saying you're a student.
But
you're
I am.
Not a student, Aziz. Like,
so what
you
am
are,
I? I'm a student. Here, in production. Bruh, I'm the one that calls the table a thingy.
How long have we've been doing Producer Spotlight now?
About a year and a bit.
Thank you.
So
did I say more?
No, bro. Let me tell you. Let me put you on game since you want to do funny things.
Okay.
You never ever stop learning.
No, of course.
Right.
I'm also learning too. That means I'm a student too.
Which is fine, but on the producer spotlight, I am the bigger student. I have more to learn than you do. So let me be the student.
No.
Well, Mr. Instro, how about the spotlight? But they have a feature called the producer spotlight. And you are a what? Producer. And what do? We spotlight. I can understand.
Nah, but yo, I think we all have a lot to learn. Mm-hmm. We all have like our time. And I think me being a professor, yeah, maybe it's getting there. It's coming. But in terms of you being a student, I think you've done really well in the past year to guide us through this segment. And yeah, it feels like a disservice to say.
Nah, I'm okay with it.
You're a student.
I'm a student of production and you're a student of radio. How's that?
Perfect.
So that's fine.
That actually makes me feel better.
All right, so Mr. Instro feels a little bit better. We're going to get straight into the producer spotlight. Who are we looking at tonight? I was saying earlier on that you're excited, you're anxious, and you just want to tell us more.
Yes.
So who are we looking at?
Tonight, we are looking at none other than Questlove. Questlove now is a very... I think I can say that he is a very popular music producer because I think his career also spans 30 plus years, and he has done a lot of significant contributions, not just making records but creating scores, session musicians. I gotta tell you this one story about him doing a session. Very cool. And he's just been an incredible gem to the music industry worldwide.
All right, so the VIN number is Amir Khalib Thompson, aka Questlove, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, born on the 20th of January 1971. And the different titles that he has are drummer, DJ, producer, culinary entrepreneur, designer, New York Times best-selling and James Beard Award-nominated author and co-founder of Philadelphia's most influential hip-hop group, The Roots. Also, because you know I like to do my research as a student does, and then I remembered that he was part of the band that was on Jimmy Fallon's show.
Yes, that is The Roots.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that like it's not just The Roots in terms of making music, but also moving into the TV space.
Of course.
And being a part of that was so super cool.
It makes him even more legendary because he's he's moved from, you know, that hip hop spotlight to creating something that's visual, something that wouldn't normally reach your normal hip hop head, but because we've grown with Questlove, we understand. I even started watching Jimmy Fallon because of I heard the roots were there, you know, just to see, what's going on.
And I like that crossover because Jimmy Fallon's audience is not necessarily your hip hop heads.
Absolutely. So it's not like your typical hip hop walk down the park, you know. It's definitely people doing their thing and progressing from this hip hop thing. In fact, I think that he mentions a plan B. Okay. I need to explain this plan B to you. Please remind me. But for now, I think we need to start from the beginning, right?
Okay, we're going all the way back.
Let's talk about his parents. So
that's way back.
That's way back. So his parents are singers. Were singers, and they used to be part of a doo-wop group. Do you guys know what a doo-wop is? A doo-wop group.
Isn't it like scatting?
Yeah, sort of. I
feel like that was a very polite no.
Yeah, like there's doo-wop is a certain way of singing, right?
Okay.
In fact, I think the best example would be to reference the Lauryn Hill song.
Right.
How the Lauryn Hill song doo-wop that thing starts.
Do, 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 do.
That's a doo-wop. That's it. That's it. That's what we call a doo-wop. And it used to be an entire genre. And Questlove's parents used to be singers. And I mean, particularly the dad was very invested in, you know, creating gigs. He was sort of like a small town promoter, and he eventually got the whole family involved. And you know, he was also a very big record LP collector. So obviously, being born in a music family, that immediately tells you that he was listening to music from the time he was in the belly. You know. And he inherited 5,000 records of his father, right?
Hectic. 5,000.
Do you know how many he actually has?
No. But I believe it's in the thousands.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. He says he's got approximately about 70,000 records.
What?
Imagine. 70,000 LPs.
How many do you think you have, Mr. Instro?
Not a lot, because I'm from a different era from him. You know, that's the difference. He's from an era where crate digging was really the thing, and I'm more digital. I mean, the first instrument I can say I played was a computer.
Okay,
you know?
I get that.
So they come from 20 years earlier, where they had to, you know, go to studios and have the analog conversation and like
the thing that you mustn't talk to Mr. Instro about.
Exactly.
Please.
I don't want to hear no analog talk.
Last week.
Not in 2021. But so that was his parents. You know, his parents were a very big influence. He started playing the drums when he was 5 years old.
What?
Imagine, 5 years old. You can barely talk. You can barely talk, but you know, you're on the drums and you're busy with it. I think it's important for me to mention that part of why Questlove is as successful as he is because from the stories that he's told, he's always been a person that listens to his father. You know,
okay.
He probably had like a very close relationship with him in the sense that he admired what the kind of man that he was, and I think that plays a very huge role. I mean, even in high school, he went to a school of arts with Black Thought, and apparently he was in the same school as Boys to Men, and and they would have this beef, you know. where Boys to Men would always like take the ladies and impress the ladies with their voices.
Well, although we've come
Exactly
to the end of the road. I'm going with that one.
Yeah, that's the one I want. And they were like, man, we can do better. But it was friendly, it was high school stuff. So they were out there in Philly doing their thing as kids. It's not until after high school that they finally did the whole, okay, cool, we're doing the Roots thing.
Right.
And he says that he was not too excited to tell his father about it because he had certain expectations of him. He wanted him to become a great session musician, play for Anita Baker or Gladys Knight, that kind of thing. But obviously Questlove had other plans in mind. And it's not until the second album that his father found out that he's actually part of a group called The Roots.
That is crazy. All right, it's just gone 14 minutes before we hit 7 o'clock. If you just plugged in, it is The Element, but this is called the Producer Spotlight with myself and Mr. Instro. Each week, he spotlights a really incredible producer, tells their story and the little nuggets that we can take away from their story, their moves, and their music. We're going to play you a joint called The Next Movement, and then Mr. Instro comes back and we get into it a hell of a lot more. Only on The Element. All right, so I got the guap and we are back. It is the Producer Spotlight on The Element. 9 minutes to go before we hit 7 o'clock, before we hit the top of the hour. But as far as the Producer Spotlight is concerned, we're going until we hit 7:30. Now, if you just joined us, you have missed out on a little bit, but not too much. We are spotlighting Questlove. Mr. Instro has so many stories that he wants to tell us, and so many cool nuggets. So keep showing us love on social media at Massiv Metro, hashtag The Element, and hashtag Producer Spotlight. Kopale tagging Mr. Instro.
Ish.
Yeah.
Yes, tag me.
At Mr. underscore Instro.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my social media game way up.
Is it?
I am.
Are you?
I am. I just, I need to focus.
It's all good. Look, he might not be super strong at social media, but he's definitely strong at taking us through the Producer Spotlight, which you will find out by 7:30 this evening. All right, so where are we going now, Mr. Instro?
We are going at how exceptional he is as an academic. Okay? Yeah, like he's very well accomplished in terms of writing books. He's got 3 and 1 on the way in October. Hint.
It's Mr. Instro's birthday month in October.
Yeah, he's got a very interesting book. I think I might. Yeah, actually, why not?
Do you have the other ones?
Not the other ones, no, I don't. But after doing this research, I need to get them.
All right, so look, if somebody else gets you the one that's dropping in October, I'll get you one of the other ones.
Okay.
Because I know you love books, so you might even just get it for yourself. But whichever one you don't get for yourself, I'll get you one of the ones.
No, this one was very personal. I mean, just listening to him, the amount of times that I did.
Yeah.
I need to read all 4 of his books. And the second one is a book about what? About food. So I'm trying to get my cooking off the ground, and it's been very interesting so far. And just to have one of my heroes write a book about food is just it's a match made in heaven. So
another match made in heaven, before you really unpack a little bit more, because you were giving me a tough time earlier on about professor versus student. And I'm sure by now you know that Questlove is an adjunct professor at the New York University Tisch School of the Arts.
Absolutely.
Professor.
Yeah. He's an academic. He actually embodies everything a producer can be.
I love that. Everything a producer can be.
He's done it all. And I mean, when I look at his career, I thank God that we are in a position to to see someone who's so well documented and to follow, you know, what he's done, because a lot of myths, a lot of very strange things around the music industry in general. He's come through authentically, and he's come through doing what he does and just really being cool about it.
Yeah.
And that for me has been like one of the greatest examples of how you can thrive, not just be a normal producer, how you can thrive in the music space as a music producer. Which brings me to Soulquarians. Well, Soulquarians are a bunch of his friends. Pela Questlove had like a sort of like Mecca at his house.
Okay.
Right? His house was Mecca. It means that Jill Scott was out there at Questlove's house before she even got her contract, before she got her deal. People like Mos Def, Kweli, those people would frequent Questlove's house without even getting deals and still trying to hone their skills, because he had a great, you know, source of you know, instruments, and it was the best place to learn if you're from around there and you're trying to get yourself, you know, discovered, or you're just trying to just freshen up your skill. And those are the people, Soulquarians are the people that actually come out of that space. I can mention Dilla, we can mention Bilal, we can mention other people who aren't necessarily from Philadelphia, but who had the same sort of energy, you know, who had the same sort of desire to have a good skill set. And they came up with this collective, this movement called Soulquarians, where they would produce different albums like Mama's Gun, Erykah Badu. Yeah. That was a Questlove production, but it was mainly done by the Soulquarians. Same with Common, like Water for Chocolate. That album, same thing. You know, influence was very deeply rooted in Afrobeat and a lot of African sounds, but the Soulquarians were very much involved. Your James Poyser playing keys, singing hooks. And I think, man, it's the beauty of, you know, being part of something great. And the one thing that I really want to stress is that a lot of people think that Questlove is mainly the roots producer. And that couldn't be far from the truth. He just presents himself. Man, that guy is loyal, you know. Yeah. He is loyal to what he birthed with Black Thought. And it's so amazing to see how far they've gotten after all these years, and how they've managed to reinvent themselves and become even better versions of when they started. You know, there's nothing worse than listening to somebody and be like, yeah, you see this guy, this is the guy that I like. I like the old you.
You used to be
exactly
so and so.
I miss the old Kanye, you know.
Right.
And for them, you know, you can't say the same about them. Whether you're talking skill set or whether you're just talking about their coolness or the way they carry themselves, I think the Roots is like, man, the greatest example of what to do in the music industry. I mean, they had a picnic, a festival that we were supposed to go to. Then
what?
The corona came through.
Rose?
The corona came through and complicated things. But
wait, you were gonna go without me? This is the first time I'm hearing about this.
No, that was
you ain't loyal.
You know, let me tell you, it was before Massive days.
Okay, Instro, how long have I known you?
It was in 2016, I think, that we were planning to. Azizzar,
Fitz. I didn't meet you last year.
Yeah, I know. I think also it's because in 2016.
All right, on that note, let me turn this man's mic off since we ain't nobody to him. I want to play the Roots with what they do. It's just gone 7 o'clock here. Yes, Mr. Instro. yo, every week, and I walk in here and I'm like, I'm gonna be a better Christian to Mr. Instro. I'm not gonna fight with him, and he says things like that. Let's take a musical break so I can gather myself. Only on the Element. It's just got 9 minutes after 7 o'clock, so we've got 21 minutes to go before we come to the end of the producer's spotlight.
Jeez.
Yeah, every week you're always surprised at how quickly it goes, and I'm just so glad that it's an hour now.
Yeah.
So we're taking a look at Questlove this evening, and so earlier on I said Mr. Instro is the prof, I'm the student, and before every lecture you get prep work.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you sent me that I really liked was this idea of you've got to love what you do, you've got to be passionate about what you do, and I wanted you to flesh that out for me as we look at Questlove.
So where that comes from is a segment where he actually gives advice on how to be a great musician.
Right.
Because I think a person like Questlove, you can't just say that these people are this person is a producer, or this person is a drummer, or he's like the all-round,
all-encompassing,
right? And he gave us 3 nuggets, right? 3 nuggets to take as somebody who wants to grow yourself as a musician, right? First thing is what you just mentioned now, that you have to be passionate about what you do,
right?
4 a.m. waking up, it's tough. It's really tough, but you have to be passionate, right? That's the first thing, passion. And then the second thing is you have to be prepared. And this one, that's the one that caught me. Like, I was like, yo, actually, this guy's right. Because I've had so many opportunities, especially with music, like music, sometimes a person can hear something you did a year ago and go, man, I want that. Or just nje, you have to be prepared. You have to be in a place where if your skill set is required, you have to be ready to go there and then. And we find a lot of artists, or even producers, who get intimidated and think that nah, it's not my time. And nah, that's not it. You're just not prepared. And I think the idea of being prepared scares a lot of people because they don't know where to start. And I just want to encourage producers to always just have a routine on how you make your music. Have a routine, have a formula, and practice that formula every day. There's a lot of people that underestimate the power of putting in your 10,000 hours.
100%.
And I promise you, even the talented, even the people who are born with this gift need to do this. He said he was rehearsing his drums for 5 hours every day.
Hectic.
5 hours every day. And this is somebody who was born in a musical family, somebody who inherently has that sound, that thing that goes into
ability,
that goes into his ears and that he can understand, And I feel like there's a lot of us who have the passion, but who really fall short when it comes to being prepared, right?
I think when you mentioned earlier on about fear, I think that's what it is, because it's not just artists and producers. I think it's people in general. Because even just in life, they always say, they say a number of things. They say, one, pray for you to be ready for the blessings that you're asking for.
Absolutely.
And put in the work. And they always also say, do something every day that your future self will thank you for. And it's absolutely necessary. And I think that a lot of people who are naturally talented sometimes forget that by putting in work, you can only be better. I mean, look at Michael Jordan.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So I love that.
He made a very good example about Quincy Jones and Michael Jackson. That's a real symbol of somebody who came from a musical family and really made something of himself right till the end. He heard certain singers sing a certain way, and Michael Jackson would always be like, yo, actually, let me try and see if this could work for me. And he was never afraid to experiment. And I also like think that's a very, very important thing that we need to consider. You know, as creatives, you can't be afraid to experiment, right? But anyway, that's just a side note. So his last point, right? He gave us 3: be passionate, be prepared, and be consistent.
That is the one.
Be consistent.
Sure.
It's so important to be consistent in life, Nje. You know, not just in your career.
True.
But Nje, you have to have a set of ground rules and stick to them.
Yeah.
You know, if you know that you want to make a beat a day, you need to commit to that. We need to get to a place where whether that beat is whack or not.
Right.
Because I know my brother.
Okay.
Yeah, like a lot of producers have this situation where they think because something is not going the way that they want them to. Say you're manipulating a sample,
right?
And this sample now is turning into something that you don't like,
right?
Don't give up on the beat. Finish the beat. Finish what you started.
Hey, Instro, sometimes it's tough, man.
No doubt.
And I think especially if you are a perfectionist, and I'm speaking for Hope here, I'm having your back, bro. Just because I'm similar as a perfectionist,
right,
you know,
right.
You have a particular way that you want things to happen, and when they're not happening like that, you're like, okay, I'm gonna see again. Yeah, but I get what you're saying. You should find different ways to get it done.
Yeah,
but
absolutely, absolutely. And for me, I think I understand what it takes, or why certain people treat themselves as perfectionists. You know, I get that. But when it's about creating numbers, you know, today's the 30th, it would count. I would have proof that I did something on the 30th.
Right.
Unlike if I am unhappy about this sample and I delete it. Now what? How can I document the 30th? How am I gonna say, yo, I did something?
Drag us, why don't you? Okay.
No, for real. Like, it's like, especially when it comes to something that sharpens your ability to do it.
Right.
Like, you have to be. If you want to be the best, you just have to do it every day. I really can't say anything further than that. I mean, Questlove is the epitome of consistency, because he's been doing it for so long and he just keeps getting better. So it's a tried and tested formula, and it's important as creatives to always tap into that creative space that allows us to become even greater than we were yesterday.
Okay, so since he's dragged us, I think we can use a break. I personally could use a break because I feel like you're speaking to me directly, but okay. 17 minutes after 7 o'clock, we're going to play you the route to break you off, and then we're going to come back with the producer spotlight. We're going to be wrapping it up. 7 minutes to go before we hit 7:30. Before we get back into the producer spotlight, I just want to take a moment to say a huge shout out to DJ Twa. I really love the producer spotlight imagery.
Yeah, it's dope.
It's one of my absolute faves, and I remember the day he hit me up, he was like, yo, I have an idea, can I just run? I'm like, do that thing. And when I heard it, I was like, yo, this is absolutely incredible. So shout out to DJ Twa for making sure that our imaging sounds absolutely incredible. All right, so back to the producer spotlight, looking at Questlove. We've taken a look at quite a bit, but there was something when we kicked it off that you said I must remind you of, and that was this idea of a plan B.
Yes.
What do you mean, and where are we going?
Okay, so hip hop, right?
Oh no.
Yeah, that's where we're taking it. We're taking it to hip hop. Okay. Hip hop, whether we like it or not, is a young man's sport. It really is a young man's sport.
Okay.
And I think those who have become successful and those who have gone to do amazing things with this vessel have had a plan B. Will Smith did his rapping thing, and that catapulted him branch out onto different things. Queen Latifah.
You don't even have to go far. Proverb.
Oh, snap.
You're going there.
Yeah, Proverb is actually the best example of what a plan B from hip hop can do for you. And I felt like it was important that I mention that he mentions it, because he is able to do all these things, these other things, these other genres, work with different. He's got a song with Angelique Kidjo, okay? Check it out. It's called Oremi. It's one, okay? This guy, this guy is incredible. He's been all over the world. He's collaborated with different kinds of artists because he's versatile like that, because he's never allowed a subgenre to take control of his capabilities, and I find that in the many conversations I've had with other producers, they feel limited. They feel very limited by hip hop's sound, and I think that's what generally makes it evolve so quickly. It evolves because there's somebody that goes, F it. I'm gonna do whatever I like.
I'm going that
way. Yeah. And then people follow that, and it's like, oh, this is the in thing now. This is the trap. Okay, trap. That's what we gonna do. Okay, this is the R&B era. Okay, let's mix this hip hop with some R&B. And I think most of us find ourselves trapped. Because I fell in love with boom bap hip hop, now it's hard to move on, and I want to encourage producers to, not that you should move on from the music that you like. I mean, you like the music. There's nothing I can or anybody else can do about that. But it's important also to free yourself, especially as a creator.
You make it sound like hip hop's got us in a choke.
For many people it does. Like you.
I knew you were gonna come for me.
Hip hop has you in a chokehold, and I
what if I like it?
I have no doubt that you like it. I have no doubt about that. But at least I know that you're open-minded enough to be interested in other things. I don't know about other genres or other situations, but I do know that when hip hop is used well, it's that one element that a lot of people tend to forget, and that element is knowledge of self. Okay, when you get into hip hop, that should be the first thing that it helps you discover yourself. Okay, and for people like Questlove, he understood. He fell in love with hip hop because it was cool at the time. It was the hip thing.
Right.
But you have to have enough knowledge of self to know that, I can be a contributor on an Angelique Kidjo album. Not that I'm hip hop.
I'm not doing that. It's not hip hop. It's not
it's not hip hop. It doesn't have that boom bap bounce. And it's like, but dude, come on. We need to get you, like, you never know what could come out. I think that's what scares me about not ever trying different things, like, what if that thing is the thing? And I think with Questlove, I get the same sense from him as well. That's why you find a book. That's why you find a score. That's why you find him doing all sorts of weird things, radio shows, touring.
But even the venturing into food as well.
The food thing, that blew my mind. That's the thing that said, okay, cool, I gotta get all these books because I also have the same sort of inquisitive nature.
Yes, you do.
And I like people who aren't afraid to express their genius and who want to also share it with the world.
Yeah. And
I think he is currently right now living one of the fullest life I've ever had the privilege of looking at and of seeing. And yeah, that's Questlove, man. That's that's important, for me, to be in a place where you're completely open to learning new things, and to let this music rather be a vehicle than it be something that holds you back, or that gets you caught up in certain rules. Kind of reminds me of religion, like hip hop is a religion these days, and you need to.
I'm not doing this with you. This part. There's literally like 30 seconds left. We're not going down that rabbit hole.
Okay. Let me end off with saying this, right, about Questlove. About if you are trying to see how far you can take your creativity in music, that's the guy to look at.
I love that. I love that. Thank you, Mr. Instro. Back again next week, Wednesday. I don't know who will be spotlighting next week, Wednesday. You just have to plug in at 6:30 for you to find out. All right, 29 minutes to go. We're going to close off with The Roots and Erykah Badu with You Got Me. And then we're going to give you some DJ traits today because, well, we can. So he's going to drop the needle in just a few. And we'll be back just before 8 o'clock to say thanks and goodbye.
The Producer Spotlight with Mr. Instro.
You can be a beat maker and not be a music producer. But when you're a music producer, you don't have to be a beat maker.
Only on the Element.